seems to me that the biggest freedom that we're experiencing in our house and many others is our daily walk. It's funny, but I think 3 weeks ago, a walk was a chore. It was to take the dogs for fitness or just to get to work or school. The world, as big and powerful as it has felt has fallen to its knees from something most of us can't see. It has brought a question mark to things we all felt secure in to start with. Many of my friends and church families are facing new challenges now. The challenge of loneliness, work pressure, lack of work and money, fear, family life. And I think everybody, to an extent, is experiencing a change of routine and priorities. Kim, my wife, is doing the Bible in a year again. The last couple of days she has been reading around Exodus and the Israelites roaming the desert. I've got to be honest, the situation we find ourselves in now has really brought new light to the story. It was easy to see what the Israelites had gained from leaving Egypt, but I'm beginning to understand what they had also lost. In Egypt, they had known what the day had planned ahead. In the desert, they had no idea. In Egypt, they knew the task ahead of them. In the desert, they only had to follow a cloud. In Egypt, they had their future hopes, as miserable as they would have been. In the desert, it was unclear. In Egypt, they had a choice of what to eat. In the desert, they were meant to just eat manna. In Egypt, they had a choice in some areas of life, but in the desert, they had none. In Egypt, they knew who they were. In the desert, they were only just beginning to learn whose they were. Now, I don't believe that God's had anything to do with this virus. I think the world is fallen and things aren't just right. But I wonder if he is using it. I wonder if, with all our identities being stripped away, he is asking who we are. Every single person, God is shouting out, "Who are you?" To the person at home, alone, "Who are you?" To the parent who is now a teacher, "Who are you?" The person now working at home, the person with employment challenges, the person who is in fear, "Who are you?" The answer, I believe, is the same as the Israelites. God would say, "You are mine, you are loved." My prayer is that this becomes clearer and clearer to us all over the next few months. There is one more thing that I'd like to highlight from the Israelites in the desert. Well, really, it's when they left. After they had passed through the waters and reached the promised land, they stopped, gathered a rock from the river and placed it to remember all God's actions and his fulfilled promise. I think we can see that for ourselves. We can see the water and the reach of the promised land. God, through Jesus, had achieved the promise, and all who call on Jesus, all that say Jesus is Lord, have passed from the desert to the promised land. We have passed through the waters. God's love, God's relationship, God's given eternal life is yours. There are so many prayers to be said, but let's just echo Jesus' words. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and glory, for ever and ever. Amen.